Good evening and welcome to Liberty Hour. I'm your co-host, Dr. Errol Griffiths, and you are watching Liberty Hour on Love World TV. I'm Errol Griffiths, and my co-host is
Pauline Byers.
And thank you very much for tuning in. This is a live program which will be coming to you at this same time every week. It's a program that will change your life. It's a program that is designed to give you health information that will allow you to be healthy and take control of your health issues and just to keep you fit, healthy, and wealthy.
Errol, can you remember when last year we had Dr. Clarence Ing, and he spoke to us about various things that we should do in the world of diabetes and how we can best manage glucose levels?
Indeed, the Honorable and eminent Dr. Ing from California, United States, was with us on the 15th of December last year. We thank the Lord for him. He's a great man that is doing great pioneering work in the area of diabetes. And that's what our subject was last week, and we will be highlighting and recapping some of the vital information that he shared with us. Also, we have a number of other health officials and guests with us tonight, and I want you to tune in, tell someone about this program, call someone who you know with health issues, any friend, family, relatives, neighbor, loved ones, even enemies and foes. Call them and tell them about Love World TV, a live program which is coming to you called Liberty Hour.
And I would suggest they grab a pen and a piece of paper and start writing things down.
Certainly, there will be relevant information that you will find productive and beneficial, also bless.
Okay, so let's just recap on what Dr. Ing had to say when he was here. We're going to have a look at some slides, just what Dr. Ing had to say. This man who has devoted his life to helping people with chronic conditions. One of them is type 2 diabetes. When he was here, he said that we should eat whole grain. And I think we had a bit of a discussion about what is whole grain. I've got some examples here at the front. Errol's just passing me over rice. I think a lot of us love to eat rice, but we like to eat the white variety. Dr. Ing encouraged us to eat whole grain rice, the one with the husk on it. It looks a bit brown, but you get a better blood glucose level if you actually eat the whole grain rice. And there is this other one as well, also whole grain, but for those of you out there who love rice and peas, this one when it cooks up is absolutely wonderful. Again, it's whole grain. But other examples of whole grain included things like oats, barley, cornmeal, and so on. But then he also said that we should eat more pulse or legumes. I don't know if you can remember Daniel in chapter 1 when he decided that he wasn't going to eat anything for 10 days bar vegetables, and that would have included pulse. Those of you out there who are familiar with the peas, various peas and things that we can get, I hope I'm not advertising for anybody, but just to give you an idea of what type of things would constitute legumes. Your red peas, your black-eyed peas, your gunga peas, your cow peas, your duku beans, those are the type of things that Dr. Ing was alluding to. Now, he also said we should drink more water, at least 2 to 3 liters a day. Just the very thought of that for some of us is frightening. But if you want to maintain healthy, wealthy bodies, then that's the best thing to do. He also said to stop drinking fruit juice. And some diabetics have a habit of drinking a lot of juice. The thing is, if you drink a lot of juice, it actually goes straight through your stomach lining and hits the blood very, very quickly and raises the blood sugar very, very quickly. So the best thing to do is to stay away from fruit juice. If you're going to have fruit juice, it's better to have the fruit with the fiber. So have the whole fruit. He also talked about eating lots and lots of vegetables and exercise. He said the cheapest form of exercise was to walk and walk, and walk.
Yes, you certainly advocate plenty of walking, at least an hour per day, which is one of the best things that you will be able to do for yourself.
Because some of us can invest in equipment that become very expensive, clothes hangers. So rather than investing in equipment, it's better to just get outside and walk. And some of the ways that we could actually do that, is to probably get off the bus a stop earlier than we normally do, or perhaps get off the tube a stop earlier than we normally do, or walk to work, or do more walking, basically. He advocated the fact that we needed to have 2 to 3 fruits a day as opposed to fruits every minute or more than 2 to 3 fruits a day. That will also allow you to keep the blood sugar stable. And one of the most important things that he said was that we should reduce the amount of animal intake that we have in our diets and to reduce the saturated fats. And saturated fats mainly come from animal meats, red meats, and so on. So those were some of the important things he said. But he also took us back to the scriptures. And he said that in Genesis chapter 1, verse 29, that God said that he would give every seed-bearing plant on the face of the whole earth and every tree that has fruit with seed in it, there will be our food. When the body is impacted, when the body is challenged, one of the best things to do is to go back to the first food of man. That way you can start the repair process. Going on from that, he said that, just to remind us what God said, that we shouldn't eat any fat or any meat with blood in it.
You have to understand that God is the creator, the producer, the manufacturer, and the constructor of man. And everyone will agree with this point, that man is not the maker of himself. Regardless whether you want to credit God with the credit for making us or not, the fact is, we are not the maker of ourselves. Therefore, he has taken credit for it. I give him credit for it, and I hope you do too. However, the fact is, he has given us a formula, a recipe, and ingredients that will keep us in health and keep us longer on the earth than in the earth. And I suggest that we take note of the instructions that the Lord has given us, because a fool despises instruction, but a wise person seeks counsel. And God has given us instruction through the Holy Scriptures, the type of things that is good, wholesome, and productive in food.
Just going back to what Dr. Ng was saying, some of the viewers might be concerned about, well, where do they get the protein from? If they're not having animal products, where are they going to get the protein from? Well, you get your proteins from a range of foodstuffs, whole grain, the various pulses that are in front of us, and also nuts. Although they're highly fat, they're also packed full with protein. I've got some nuts here. Some of us get it covered in chocolate. Get them covered in chocolate, but I've got Brazils, walnuts, cashews, almonds, hazelnuts. Those are all packed full of proteins. Across the range of food, though, what we have is high fiber food, and there are absolute great benefits to them. Let's have a look at the slide and what Dr. Ng reminded us of. He said that a high fiber diet actually improves glucose control because it slows down the transit of food through the digestive tract. It reduces the risk and complications of diabetes, some of which we're going to be talking about later. Reduces the cholesterol. So if some of you are watching who've got high blood cholesterol, it's possibly important for you to begin looking at the type of animal products that you're taking in. And for some of us who may have blood pressure problems, especially high blood pressure, it's one of the ways of reducing high blood pressure. And for those of us who may suffer from things like irritable bowel, constipation, and so on and so forth, it certainly will aid those issues. Isn't that an important fact that he has to say about food?
Most definitely. There are 4 important things in life which you cannot do without. If you try, you do it at your peril. Eating, drinking, air, and information. You need oxygen, you need food for energy, and you need information. I'm not suggesting that they come in that particular order. You can dissimulate them and arrange them, but I suggest you would put oxygen first.
Okay. He talked about doors that we actually have in ourselves. Now, for some of us who have medical minds, those doors are called receptors. but he actually called them doors. And I like to refer to them as doors because when I understood what happened at the door level, I understood how to actually reduce blood sugar levels. Now, this is a typical muscle cell. I made it simple, it's round, and it's got a pink thing in the middle, which is the nucleus. Let's see what happens with the doors. Well, in carbohydrate metabolism, or how the body uses carbohydrate, it actually breaks it down to glucose. If you look at the tiny blue spots on the red bar represents the blood, and the blue spots represent the glucose molecule. The yellow things are the doors. The aim of the body is to get the glucose into the cell, so the cell can actually get energy.
And what you need to understand is that this is part of the eating process. It is through the eating process you use for survival, and as you eat, this is what the internal mechanism of your body is doing in order to sustain your life.
Okay, so insulin, which is produced by the pancreas, is absolutely necessary for glucose to be used by the body. This diagram takes it that little bit further. See what insulin is doing, that little green man with the face? He's actually opening the doors, and by opening the doors, he's actually getting the glucose molecule into that black area, posh name, the mitochondria. And in that actual part of the cell, energy is created, life is created. Okay, but what happens? So as I said before, insulin, it opens the doors and pushes the glucose molecule into the cell. But what happens in diabetes? If you look at the diagram, there's something missing. What's missing?
There will always be things missing when you suffer from diabetes because the body is not working correctly.
The thing that's missing is the door. The yellow door is missing. And the cell is actually saying to the body, saying to the glucose, I don't want any more glucose in here. I am packed full.
That's right. The body will always give you information, and you will find symptoms continuously coming because there's something amiss in your body. As that diagram shows you, there is something missing. The door, which is the entrance to allow the glucose to do what it does, which is give energy, which fuel the body in order for it to function, operate, and maneuver and sustain you.
At this point, most of the glucose, instead of being, in the cell, some of it is actually circulating in the body and raising the blood sugar, and that's when people are usually diagnosed. So how can we make more doors? Well, it's what I said before. Eat more whole grain, eat more whole foods. Just reinforcing the point that we said earlier, drink more water, avoid fruit juices, walk and walk and walk and walk and walk, and reduce your saturated fats. So the best way to manage glucose is to actually remember what you put in your body. I think someone said sometimes we're actually digging our graves with our teeth. That's sometimes the case. So it's very, very important for us to bear in mind what we put in our body, and also to get more exercise so we can create more doors. Now, bear in mind though, when you start doing these things, that things are going to start changing. Therefore, it's important for you to keep in touch with your health professionals, because once you start changing your diet, once you start changing your lifestyle, once you start exercising, that things are going to begin to change, and you're going to start shifting. You're going to start shifting weight, and you're going to start changing your blood glucose levels. So it's important to keep in contact with them. I can't stress that enough. Keep in contact with them so they can review your medication on a regular basis and keep you in control. Now, last time we spoke, I spoke about this book that we actually published called Managing Diabetes, A Whole Food Approach. It's been acclaimed for its value, its worth and we're going to meet someone who has used the principles laid out in this book to reduce his intake of insulin very, very shortly. But for those of you who want to make drastic changes to your blood glucose levels and to have a go at using some recipes that may help you, then this is a book worth buying or worth getting. And you can actually get it from the address and details on the screen. And if you're in the area in Derby anytime, you can always join us for worship at the address given on the screen. Okay.
You are watching Love World TV, and this is Liberty Hour. And we thank you very much for joining us. Wherever you are in the world, welcome and God bless you. This is a program that is designed to give you information to help you to control diabetes and to give you information that will help you to prevent diabetes if you are not a sufferer. This is a program that will change your life and make your world a much better place to live. So thank you very much for tuning in. Also, I would like you to understand that what necessitated this program was my co-host and I, unfortunately, we developed diabetes, and as a result of that, we were fortunate enough to meet some people who gave us relevant information that changed our life, the quality of our life, and to prolongate our life. And we were so fortunate and appreciative that in our generosity to healthy living, we have decided to take this information to the world at large. Myself was a diabetic sufferer, and although they tell you that once you develop diabetes, you will always have it, but there is those who specialize in doing their endeavor to reverse diabetes. Some will say it can never be reversed. One thing is sure, you can have an improved life if you get the relevant information, which was what we got, and it has changed our life, and Liberty Hour is giving you the relevant information that will change your life also. We have some guests with us tonight, and we want to welcome them. We have Prince here with us. Prince, welcome to Liberty Hour at Love World TV.
Thank you, Sam.
Welcome, Chris. You've got a very, very important surname. Egeku.
Egeku, yes.
Oh.
That's a kingly name.
Egeku means somebody that listens.
Oh, somebody that listens.
And you certainly have been listening.
Okay. Welcome, Prince. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Tell us about your story. Tell us about your journey.
Well, my story is long, but very fruitful.
Mm-hmm.
Right. My story started sometime in August. I was on holidays to Ireland, Republic of Ireland. I started having dehydration, drinking a lot of water, passing a lot of water.
This is